Welcome back to the Weekly News Roundup. I hope everybody's doing well. We are broadcasting from the Black Hills. Yeah. We are on Starlink. I am noticing a little bit of frame droppage, not a ton. Like this always seems to happen, even though my upload speed's like, what, 25 down? What was that, like 30 up? For whatever reason, Starlink still likes to buffer from time to time. And I don't know if it would help. I was talking about next time we try Starlink, I might cut the video feed back down to 1080p again, or 720p again. But I think I'm just going to keep it where it is. Mostly I wanted to test if it would work well out in the West, where we do not have quite as much competition for the satellites. So I did notice just a few drops, not a whole ton. We're down to just 200 frames so far out of 2 minutes. So that's not too bad. We'll keep an eye on it, but just in the event it sputters or whatever else, that's the case. What is the ping? I don't know. Ivan, maybe you can grab the ping from the screenshot I posted. I didn't catch what the ping was. And I posted it over on the Matrix server though. So yeah, we are from the Black Hills. Cellular actually works much better here than I thought it would, being in the canyons. But my upload is just at 3, and that's not enough to stream at the amount we want. Even though right now OBS is buffering again. So that is kind of where we're at. But yeah, look at this. It's dropping down. It's 10% frame droppage now. This is weird. People are like, switch to Starlink. I don't know why it can't hold a solid, steady connection. I have no obstructions in the sky where I'm at right now either. So, but anyway, that's kind of the case. So we're just gonna go through. You'll get a little bit of buffering here and there. It shouldn't be a horrible amount of buffering, but we'll just kind of go ahead and push along. And this was kind of a test. And I think after this, next time we need to use the Starlink for the streaming, I think we will drop that stream feed down to 720p and see if that works. And I don't even know why it's jittering so much. There it went. OBS just went full back, full bar again. I don't know what it is. Fix your crap, Elon. That's right. Keegan says. All right. So there is what we have there. And as far as other generalized announcements, we are progressing our tour out west. Not a whole lot else to say other than, hey, the government shut down. That was great. That did actually change my plans because I originally had a tour booked for Wind Cave. And of course, look at the stuff and look at the imminent government shutdown and say, last year we considered the same thing because I was close to Everglades. And I was like, should I push it? I'm like, you know what? I think that those guys in the red will cuck, and they did. But I had no expectation. I fully expected the government to close. I didn't think anyone was going to cuck on either side. We have such divided politics right now. So I drove 5 hours on Monday to get to the foothills here at the Black Hills, and then I walked in 7 in the morning and bought a tour at Wind Cave. So I did that, and then since I was in the area, I did Jewel Cave as well, and then I just kind of disappeared in the Black Hills, and it has been wonderful because I'm here at this beautiful spot in the Black Hill Mountains, surrounded by mountains and trees, and it's the first time in 2 weeks I did not have to move every morning. Oh, it's so nice. In fact, it was so nice. I cooked my food on a solar oven today. I've been using the Jackery. One of the downsides of this campsite where I'm at, there's a lot of tree obstruction on solar panels. So yesterday I only pulled in 500 watts. Today I only pulled in 700 watts of power. But now that we have the Jackery too, that just changes the game on the power solutions, because I used the Jackery for all the videos the other day and for all of the news prep last night. And then I threw the Jackery out there today on the solar panels and charged it back to 100%. And we're streaming off of the Jackery, and then I'll use that, charge a bunch of things on my systems tonight, maybe even transfer some of the Jackery power back into my main batteries, which honestly are still doing fine. And then I'll just charge the Jackery back up to 100% again tomorrow. This is actually kind of working. This Jackery is a game changer, I got to say. That's the only other basic announcement. We are going to get into these. We will, like we did last week, we're going to record the 2 main topics and release those as a standalone video. I don't know. What do you guys think? Should we leave me in the comments? Should we also record the quick lines as a separate standalone as well. I mean, I didn't consider that originally, but I don't know, it might be interesting for people to catch like a 10-20 minute quick news headlines. I don't know. Let me know. I don't mind doing that. I don't have a thumbnail put together for that, but I'll consider it. We are going to do 2 topics today. One of those is respecting other people's privacy. And the other one is, sorry, guys. I know some of y'all won't like it, but introducing the mark of the beast. I think it's coming, guys. And it's tech related, so we got to cover it over here. So let's go ahead and get started. Of course, actually, before we do that, we're going to jump on over here. And if you want to help support the channel, have a look at the website, switchedtolinux.com/support. You'll see our monthly support page. Support us on Locals, Patreon, or Subscribestar. We have those places available right now. And there's also some affiliates up there. So if you want to help support the channel, that is your best way of doing it. And with that, let's go ahead and dive right on into our first topic. Welcome back to the Weekly News Roundup, and today we're going to be talking about the respecting other people's privacy, because this is an interesting topic, because obviously we always get into this idea of respecting privacy, and some of us like me, a little bit hardcore on the privacy aspect, particularly in the digital life, to the point where sometimes just standing up and exerting your privacy makes you kind of sometimes sound like a jerk. Like you go into a restaurant, like, what's your name with the order? I don't want to give you my name. Well, and frankly, giving somebody a name is stupid. Let me tell you why. I have a friend who also shares my name. So that's Tom. And we were down. This is a true story. He might jump in here and can verify if he wants to. But I was visiting him, and we go out to a local barbecue chain. And wouldn't you know it, the guy in front of us in the line was also Tom. So there's 3 Toms in a row. We order the barbecue place. They all want to know what your name is, to give you your order, to greet you by name, because, they think that that's going to be quote unquote better customer service. Order for Tom. There's literally 3 Toms standing here. Could you be more specific? You see, an order number is a whole lot better customer service, because I don't think your computer is going to be spitting out 3 order number 101s, unless of course you're in room 101, in which case 2 + 2 = 5 and all world is broken. But that being said, I don't even like giving them my name. I usually give them the same one answer: Joe Bob Henry Bob Squanto Jones IV. And they stare at me like I have lobsters crawling out of my eyes. And I've actually had one person actually wrote that down. It was a Starbucks employee. Go figure. But the fact is that taking and exerting your own privacy is a lot of good steps. I use Graphene OS for my phone. I do not use any form of phone apps. I use separate computers for banking and for everything else. I use Linux everywhere. I have my own custom router. I have private DNS servers which filter everything out. I have my own private VPN to exert things. And I can do all these amazing things, but if I go to my friend who is still on Facebook and they have my phone number in their phone, and they just have that Facebook app on their phone, and they just click the button, boom, Facebook now has my full name, or whatever name they put me in there, and most likely they put in my full name in there, and then my phone number. So now, despite I want nothing to do with Facebook ever, Facebook now has my name and my phone number. Now, fortunately, there's like 4 or 5 of us with my name out there in the world. But the problem is that I didn't consent to Facebook having my contact information. Why is it allowed for somebody else to give my information to Facebook, for Facebook to then come out and have such information? Of course, we also know they do things like they create their shadow profiles and things like that. And so I want to jump into the first story here. And this, of course, isn't anything groundbreakingly new. This is back from April. The challenge we have now is that they're rolling out these new Ray-Ban Meta glasses, and they're out for about 6 months now. So we're starting to see a bunch of 6-month reviews drop. In fact, I did actually see a couple 6-month reviews drop just this week. So this isn't too far out of the norm, especially considering all the other stories we're going to be talking about. The problem is that these glasses, they have these cameras and microphones and things, and you can basically walk around with these things and they'll simply pick up anything they see, anything they hear, and it all feeds itself back to Meta. Now, curiously, one of the channels I watch, and he had to go back to a different, I think, is it Levi Hildenbrand? It's the channel that used to be called Future Proof, and some company wanted to sue him over that or something, and so he decided, hey, you know what, I'll give you the name, I'm not going to fight you, and we'll just change it back to his real name. And so that channel there, they actually covered this topic today, which was quite fascinating. It was on my list since last night, and all of a sudden a channel has some good information. And there's apparently a whole bunch of TikTok and Instagram and other short form video feeds of people walking around with these things. And it poses a serious question. What about all of these people on these monetized videos that didn't consent to that? You know, if I go out to the park and I take pictures of people in the park, that's actually not against the law in America. Now, America should probably put in the same types of laws that EU has, where you can't take pictures of people even in public. But America, it assumes if you're in public, you're fair game. However, America also has laws about paying people for being human models in productions. And so it begs the question, if you happen to be picked up by somebody's obnoxious TikTok video and they're monetizing it, making thousands of dollars, and your name or your face appears in that video, why can I not go and make something similar to a copyright claim, say maybe call it a human model claim against these people and say they're using my likeness, they do not have permission, I want their ad revenue from that. And you know what? We'll probably solve the problem of morons doing TikTok in public if we happen to exert that type of ability. And I think that that's important because more and more devices are coming on down the line, like these Meta glasses that can record everything around them. Now in the EU, running around with these is a little bit trickier, but here in the States, hey, it has a bright light indicating it's recording, therefore it's okay. No, it's not. If I were a violent person, I might punch somebody in the face that had one of these, but I'm not a violent person, nor do I advocate violence. So please don't do that. But you might tap into that inner jerkiness that I talked about earlier and say, excuse me, I do not consent to being recorded by that thing. Turn it off. And at that point in time, once you tell somebody to stop recording you, at that point in time, you should have an authority to shut somebody down that's recording you. Okay, and I understand that, and I think that that's something they should do. Now, they randomly updated their privacy policy out of the blue. Remember, they can do that anytime. And they actually said down here, Meta will store customers' voice recordings and improve their products without an option to opt out. So you can't even opt out of collecting all that information in the new privacy policy. Now, they are not constantly recording or storing everything around the user. We'll save that for another topic we'll get to in a minute. But they are recording and seeing everything after the person uses the Meta wake word. But now the problem is that they're collecting all this data according to the latest change in the privacy policy, and is of course using all this data to train AI, and this comes at the expense of user privacy. A user may not understand that if they use their Ray-Ban Meta glasses out in the box to photograph loved ones, that person's face may find its way into Meta's training program. So this begs a question. If you go over there and take a picture, so if I'm just sitting in a coffee shop, and this is one of those things that channel had on it today, if I'm sitting in the coffee shop and I'm just sitting there working, whatever else, and some moron comes in with these Meta glasses, hey, can I have a seat with you? Like, no. At that point in time, even though they've started it, I can see it's recording. I didn't consent to them walking over and putting a camera in my face. However, now the AI has captured my face and my likeness and will use that to train AI. And that should be 100% against the law. There should be no device out there which can gather data from people without their consent. But I gotta say, we're starting to see some of them. Of course, Louis Rossmann talked about this one today, and it's very rare that I add articles on Thursday morning after the show's written on Wednesday night. This was a good exception because it tied exactly into what we were talking about. So Louis Rossmann actually mentioned this, and I actually did some research into the company, and they are actually a company that is they're actually about a year or so old, but the reason it just popped up is just this last couple of days, they just threw a $1 million advertising campaign plastering New York City subways across it, and this is what Louis Rossmann's video was on, where people were basically vandalizing all of that advertising, saying AI is not your friend. So the problem here is that friend is a connected via Bluetooth and is always listening to everything around you. And they basically say, hey, you have to acknowledge that this thing is perpetually listening and recording and collecting all data of everything around you at all times. So if you walk into the New York subway with this nonsense on, the subway, the friend user will actually be collecting all of the data going around. Maybe they'll hear about the next 37 time released violent criminal stabbing somebody. I mean, I don't know what it'll do with that information. Clearly not call the police. That would be racist. I don't know. But the thing is constantly listening, and it's utilizing all this stuff. And you agree to hold the company faultless if somebody sues you over the data that it collects on you. Basically, it says, hey, we're this amazing thing that's constantly surrounding your surroundings, or constantly recording your surroundings. And if somebody sues you about it, it's not our problem, it's your problem. I mean, that's kind of what they were saying in there. In their privacy policy here, it's I can't actually highlight stuff because it's a PDF here utilizing my system. But there was some good stuff in here. Data you provide, through the use of the services and the creation of the account, we may collect your personal information from you directly. This data can include, but it's not limited to, name, phone number, email address, username, account credentials, content shared via online mobile platforms, etc., etc. I mean, everything, all this kind of stuff. Financial information, transaction, biometric data such as facial recognition, voice recognition, any other information. By using the services, you understand the device is passively recording your surroundings, including audio and video content that may contain personal information that is inappropriate, illegal, or unethical to collect. Privacy and video surveillance laws in your jurisdiction may apply to your use of our products and services. You are solely responsible for ensuring that you comply with all applicable laws to the using of our services. Capturing, recording, or sharing audio video content involving other people, or capturing other people's feature information may be unlawful and affect privacy rights. And the factor is that people they don't even care about their own privacy, let alone to wear a surveillance tool around their neck so that I have to be surrounded by morons who will collect my data, hand it up to some AI training company, and I can do nothing about it because I'm not the fool who started in on this stuff. Now, before I dive into the next part, I do want to talk about something else I saw today. And this happened just only about 2 hours ago, so it was way too recent to actually add it into the news. But I was searching for what churches I might want to attend this week, and I found a church that seemed reasonable. And so I was poking around their webpage, and they had one of those things, and it was utilizing a service called churchdirectory.com. Now, a few weeks back, I did a video warning you about some of these church data collection programs. This privacy policy, the good news, it was very short. The bad news, it kept contradicting itself. It literally said in one paragraph, we do not share your information with any other organization. But if you want to opt out to us sharing your information with other organizations and third parties, you need to contact us. So do you share the information or do you not? Churchdirectory.com. In another paragraph, it actually, now that letter, whatever you do, and you may not know it, but your admins of that church is going in and placing it onto a centralized database for some big company. And under that setting in the privacy policy, this church organization literally had 2 paragraphs under that part of how do we handle your members' data. The first paragraph said, we do not use this data for anything. We don't access it. We don't look at it. We don't share it. The very second paragraph talks about how all they're doing is sharing all this information with all their third parties who pinky promising not to abuse that data. So are you sharing our data or not sharing our data? It makes me wonder. There's 5 paragraphs in the privacy policy. Has anybody read this? Why is anybody using this nonsense? But this brings us to our next one about not caring about people's privacy. Ring cameras came out with some interesting stuff this week. because, of course, they're doing this big push for the new Alexa Plus, which now requires you to buy much more expensive Ring devices because they have all this embedded AI stuff. Now, the good feature they have about this is, hey, if you lose a pet, you can, put that up to a neighborhood network of Ring cameras, and using that very dystopian sidewalk crap, they can actually spread that information. And if there's a pet spotting of your pet that you've uploaded, then you'll get alert to it. So that's kind of a neat feature. However, the other interesting neat feature that they have is you can actually upload pictures. Let's see it. You can actually upload pictures of people you like. Okay, users can enroll the faces of their loved ones onto the device, enabling Ring to alert them when it recognizes a visitor. So the idea here, it's not that I showed up at your door and you go, oh, this is a safe person. No, it says users can enroll the faces of their loved ones. So you enroll my face in your Alexa profile with my name and my likeness, so Alexa can do a custom greeting if I show up at the door. Here's a custom greeting. Get my crap out of your AI nonsense, or I'm never coming back to your door again. There's a thought. But you notice this theme, it's not anymore that I have to submit my data to this company, to this dystopian company. It's someone else is submitting my data. And if they already have a Ring camera, they clearly don't care about anybody's privacy. So it should be completely illegal for anybody to submit any personal information on any other person to any company server, which means Facebook should be immediately barred from accessing contacts on a phone. Google should be immediately banned from accessing contacts on a phone. Microsoft should be immediately banned from accessing contacts on a phone, because I do not want my name and phone number tied into these services. I've worked really hard to not get constantly bombarded by spam calls, thank you, and I'd like that to remain the same. So users can enroll the faces of their loved ones to enable Ring to alert them when it recognizes a visitor. Customers to, company explained today's blog post that the new feature is meant to empower customers to reduce notifications by triggering familiar people's routine activities. This is basically translated as, hey, if you are living in an apartment complex, because, 2030 is coming soon, we will own nothing, including houses, and we'll be happy, darn it. Okay. And so, you are living in an apartment complex, so you put a little Ring camera there, and your neighbor comes out and has to stare at your dystopian nightmare of a Ring camera every single time they leave. And now Amazon is now collecting all the information about when you come and go from your apartment because your neighbor put a Ring camera on it. There's something else that should be illegal. All right. Now you can actually alert them to say, hey, don't give me an alert when my crazy neighbor. Now, you by all means can be aware of how often he comes and goes. Just don't tell me about it. Right? That's really what Amazon is doing here. All right. So Ring has faced criticisms, of course, for its close ties with law enforcement and a history of poor data management. Yeah, that's exciting. And then the familiar faces feature can be integrated into the broader Alexa Plus greeting system, which will enable specific greetings when the camera recognizes a specific face. How wonderful. Then there's the search party. I don't have a big problem with the search party looking for random pets. All right. So, of course, this is funny, too. I did like this part about it. Search party for dogs will launch in November with support for cats. What? Is it search party for dogs or is it search party for cats? I don't know. Anyway, how does my cat think about that? I don't know. The cat's up there. I can't ask. But I don't know. Search party for dog rolls out with cats. That's exciting. Well, if this isn't enough, there is a new app that jumped to the very top of the Play Store after only a couple days of coming out. This is called Neon. So TechCrunch was actually one that broke the story, but I actually liked Malwarebytes' write-up of it better. So I'm using Malwarebytes instead of the original source. So this is an app that allowed you to, it literally allowed you to record your audio calls and sell it to the AI companies. They would pay you up to $30 a day to allow it to record your phone conversations. And of course, like every other fly-by-night company, now I looked into the company behind this, and the company behind this is so new. It was just founded, very first corporate LLC documents in July. Came out with a round of seed funding from 2 different companies, and then it promptly rolled out this phone app that nobody heard about until all of a sudden it made it to the top of the list, and a bunch of people were going to be using this for, yet another crowdsourcing thing, or gig economy thing. Basically now somebody uses the app and calls you on the phone. You may not know it, but the app's sitting there recording the phone conversation. Now, there's actually some interesting news to this. We'll get to that in a moment here. But they just want the voice data. If you ask a friend to agree to talk about it, you can make $900 a month. That seems pretty easy. If both parties are doing it, it comes out to $18 an hour, which is pretty good. They promise that it will never sell your personal data to any third party. However, their entire business model is collecting your data and selling it to a third party. Now, they can say your personal data because they quote-unquote anonymize it as best as you can. Okay, it does not knowingly or intentionally collect personal about children under 16. It will only record your side of the call unless it's with another Neon user. So this is interesting. Neon collects a lot of personal and technical data about you, identifiers, contact details, usage information, payment information, event participation, account activity, testimonials, and other data from third parties. So any third-party integrations are your responsibility. Your personal data is shared with others. You have certain rights, but not absolute rights. You watch out for opt-outs, and the disclosure rights are quite broad. Oh, and by the way, if you remove the app from your phone, they can still collect your phone conversation data if the other person still uses it. You actually have to completely delete your account. Now, of course, as soon as this made it to the top and everybody laser focused onto it, like ID.me style, they actually found really quick, and this was actually TechCrunch basic reporters, which were just playing with this. They actually found that the app was so insecure, they allowed it to access everyone else's data. And after they alerted them to it, then the servers were immediately taken down, so that's good. Of course, the guy didn't want to comment to, hey, what is this dystopian nonsense? No comment, I'm just a young 19-year-old kid looking for a way to make money in the AI era. Hey, kudos to that. He came up with an idea. But this is from TechCrunch. This is their follow-up article. It goes dark after exposing users' phone numbers, call recordings, and transcripts. Now, here's the good news about it. I didn't think it was possible. They were actually able to access the actual phone calls, and indeed, they only recorded the side that the app was using. They actually came through with their promise. We have actual evidence from a data breach that they are actually only recording half the calls, because some security researchers looked at this and said, this might violate wiretapping laws, because I bet that they're recording both ends of the conversation and just recording the transcript of the person making the calls. It actually turns out that the app was legitimately only recording the phone conversation from the side of the person who had the Neon app, which was interesting, but still a little dystopian, because you could actually gain a lot more information depending on what the conversation was about. You could glean more information about who that is on. So they already had thousands of downloads, 75,000 times in one day alone. That was September 24th. And Neon, however, has gone offline for now after a security flaw allowed anyone to access phone numbers, call recordings, and transcripts of any other user. It was very simple. They had the worst security ever, non-encrypted, and they found it just by using one of the basic snitch applications to look at where traffic was coming and going to. And they noticed all these, hard-coded URLs. They were able to just backtrack to phone numbers, backtrack to people, backtrack to stuff. So this is actually what they were actually able to see from the analysis report. And this was literally, that's redacted here, is literally the full open access URL, which means you could basically, if you could figure out what the naming sequence is of this, you could literally create a bot to go in there and scrape the whole thing perpetually. So the audio files contain recordings of just those installed Neon, not those they contacted. That's actually kind of brilliant. That actually worked out. But the metadata contain users' phone numbers, phone number of the person they're calling, so you know who was made, when the call was made, its duration, and how much money each call had earned. So the app was shut down for now. Of course, he comes out by running his flapping stupid gums. Your data privacy is our number one priority. Is it? Is it really? I think if our data privacy is your number one priority, maybe you would have secured it first and done independent security audits before unleashing the thing to the world and then sitting there in a pool of money like Scrooge McDuck. Okay? I mean, yeah. And by the way, they said this was actually the email they sent out to their users. It makes no mention, the email that they sent out to users makes no mention of security lap or that expose people's phone numbers, call recordings, or call transcripts. So, get this 18-year-old kid some billion-dollar contract or something to do the next OpenAI or something, because he sounds like a top-notch guy to give us all of this next-level dystopian future stuff that, nobody can really care, Of course, he did not answer questions about if they had put it together any independent security auditing before releasing it to the world. You can probably guess what the answer is. No comment equals nah. That costs too much. We don't want to do that. We wanted to make some money. All right. But if this doesn't get, if this gets even more dystopian, this kind of goes to what Louis Rossman's trying to battle with the Austin, Texas flock camera implementation, where these cameras are storing data in centralized networks. Now, I know that the flapping gum morons that are trying to sell the city employees on this stuff are telling them contrary things, but it's very, very clear from the way that flock cameras have been used that it is a centralized database, and that is a big concern. Well, welcome to Kiddo, which is infinitely worse. Kiddo is actually a child care chain that operates in United States, United Kingdom, China, and India. And having operated in all those places, they share one centralized database of all of their information, including their security cameras. And hackers got in there and stole all of it. So 8,000 children, their names, addresses, phone numbers, parents' names, parents' careers, everything else down to the shrimp gumbo is all now in the hands of hackers who released 10 individual profiles of 10 individual kids, including photographs to prove they had the data. And now they're actually also contacting some of the parents. They're basically just looking for a bunch of random ransomware stuff. And so it's a ransomware attack where, once again, we have a centralized database that was taking photographs and too much information. Like, there's no reason to have all this information for people in 4 different countries around the world all stored on one centralized server. No reason. Okay, here's a fun fact. All of the information about the individual children should be stored only offline at the individual daycare they're at. What are these children flying off to China for a field trip? There's no reason they need all that information in the cloud. Local and a locked filing cabinet. Data security. If somebody breaks in there and steals it, they're going to have a really hard time collecting and copying all that data. You're not going to walk out with a whole filing cabinet full of stuff, Just when you think the extortionists can't sink any lower, along comes a lowlife that manages to surprise you. Stolen sensitive data related from around 8,000 children from a nursery chain Kiddo, which operates UK, US, China, and India. The data group says it stole the names, photos, addresses, dates of birth, and details about their parents or careers, or carers. I guess that's carers, not careers. I thought that was careers spelled wrong. So I guess the people working there. So, okay, the criminals posted samples, including pictures and profiles of 10 children on their darknet. And when contacted by the BBC about their extortion attempt, the group deferred to their actions, claiming we deserve some compensation for our pen testing. Okay. They also said that they started contacting some of the parents. So this brings us into, how does this tie into our main topic here of not caring about other people's data? Well, the fact of the matter is that a lot of these companies are doing things which puts other people's data at risk. Between the third parties that they're using, the individual services, because they're either too lazy, too cheap, too incompetent to utilize some resource that they can do internally. And you think about the number of things that are being outsourced. Like right now, it's a big trend in big corporate companies to outsource human resources. You'd think that's something you kind of want inside, but what it ends up doing is centralizing hundreds and thousands and maybe even tens of thousands of maybe even millions of employees into centralized databases that become too big of targets. And of course, these companies are just trying to operate, oftentimes just on shoestring budgets. They don't have money for security. They're too easy to breach or too easy to hack. And these are kind of fundamental problems. And so you need to be very careful when you're working with companies like this to make sure that you're actually doing things in such a way that they are respecting your privacy not being flippant with it, because when the world gets flippant with your data, if you want to get flippant with your own personal data, you have at it. But you want to get flippant with my data, we're going to have a serious conversation. And you probably won't like that, because you'll sit there, well, what's so wrong? What do you got to hide? It ain't your information to give. It ain't your information to give. You think it is? Give me your social security number. I'm going to put it on. I'm going to broadcast everybody that I know's phone numbers and social security numbers for my next week live stream. Tune in. No, I'm not going to do that. Obviously, that'd be ridiculous. But there you have it, folks. So let me know about your thoughts about all that. Of course, this is a clipped out stream, clipped out section from our main news stream. I'll have the whole stream down below. So check that link down below. Thanks for watching, and hope that you enjoy switching to Linux. All right, we're going to move on over to our next topic. So our next topic, oh boy, introducing the mark of the beast. I'll say that again in a moment. That was a lot of talking and too fast. There's some coffee and here's some water. All right. All right, let's go ahead and get started on this one here. Welcome back to the Weekly News Roundup. This is the individual clip on introducing the mark of the beast. This is part of a greater live stream. You can find the link to the entire live stream down below if you want to see the whole thing. But today we are going to be talking about digital IDs and the mark of the beast. And even if you're not a religious Jesus freak like me, why this is important and why it matters. And maybe even if you don't like that kind of stuff, maybe you'll understand a little bit more about why some of us are taking this stuff a little serious. So of course it kind of starts with what's going on over in the UK right now, because this is making huge news. And this is actually one of these things they kind of call it like a journalist archive, where the Guardian actually has a series of articles about this. You can click into each one of these. We're not going to go to each one of these. I'm actually going to go over to the actual UK's government site and see what they're all about. But as of right now, an online petition saying the government should not introduce digital ID cards is heading for 900,000 signatures. Now, in the UK, any of these petitions that reach over 100,000 signatures have to be brought up for a discussion. And so usually there's no evidence that actually says, usually there's no evidence that has actually caused any change, but at least it has to be discussed. And there are several other MPs in UK that are actually mad about this. And so it is certainly a significant thing that the online cards, basically 900,000 people are kind of mad about all this nonsense. Then there's some discussion. If we get this digital ID system working and the public being with us, that will be the bedrock of modern state and will allow for really quite exciting public service reform in the future. Really exciting public service reform. Like, if you do not have this mark on your hand or your forehead, you can't eat. And that's really what caused a lot of people a lot of concern, because the prime minister, was it the prime minister, I think, that announced this? He basically said in no uncertain terms exactly, if you do not have this, you cannot work. That becomes perilously close to what the mark of the beast is recorded in the book of Revelation. And I'm sorry, I'm going to subject you to that in a little bit. But the petition has been live since June. The number of people signing only shot up yesterday when it was reported that Starmer was about to confirm that the plan is going to go ahead. Once again, people aren't really paying a whole lot of attention. So what is about this digital ID? So having a look at the actual digital ID scheme from the UK government, this is the UK government official website, published 26 September 2025. So a new digital ID scheme will make it easier for people across the UK to utilize vital government services. It will be required for right-to-work checks to stop those with no right to work from being in the country. You see, like United States prior to Donald Trump, they had a really bad illegal immigration problem. And because nobody wanted to stop and do anything about it. And now it posed a big question. Well, what are we going to do? Well, rather than, checking people's IDs, they would just kind of let people work. And now they're like, well, you got to have this. It's mandated by law. Anybody employing somebody's got to do this. Well, unless, of course, they're still paying people under the table, which happens all the time anyway. And some people criticizing this says this is not going to stop that. This is not going to stop that. This is just one more barrier and one more means to digitally control people who you don't like. And by the way, in the UK, it's like that meme. I have a meme going around. Guys, how do you like being in the UK? Can't complain. Well, that's great. No, I can't complain because I'll be thrown in jail. That's the UK right about now. Okay, people are roaming the streets, roofing people, and they don't want to do anything because it's all those Arabs. Literally, guys, that's what's going on. However, they're kicking in doors for people posting spicy memes on the internet. It is messed up. Do not go to UK right now. It is a dangerous place. All this is going to do is intensify the problems. It will also be required for right to work checks to stop those with no right to be in the country. How it works. Your free digital ID will be stored securely on your phone. That's exciting. And will help prove your identity, including age, residency status, simplifying access to government services, and a range of uses across the private sector. So it'll be free to download, and employers will be required to check it as evidence of your right to work in the country. Your digital ID will be the authoritative proof of who someone is and their residency status. Of course, it's digital services, guys. This stuff can be hacked, spoofed, or whatever else. It'll include your name, date of birth, information on nationality or residency status, and a photo as the basis for the biometric security, such as an e-visa or passport, but updated for the modern digital age they live in. What will it do? It will improve access to public services like education and social benefits by making it easier for everyone to quickly and easily prove their identity. It also toughens employment checks, including those across the gig economy, and it streamlines verification process across the private sectors by enabling digital ID checks and efficient verification when you're doing things like opening a bank account or proving your age. So streamlining access, of course. How will it be protected? They will be stored directly on your own device, just like contactless payment cards or the NHS app today. Of course, they'll use state-of-the-art encryption and authentication technology. You know, that kind of stuff that the hackers already got through. Yeah. User control is at the heart of the proposal. Sharing information contained in the ID should be instigated by you, and it will be transparent with whom the information will be shared. Your personal data will be better protected. That's because if a phone is lost or stolen, your credentials can easily be revoked and reissued, providing better security than traditional physical documents. So basically, it's just like having all those documents just directly in your phone. So this is funny. I found these statistics really hilarious. Why will this help? Well, it's estimated 10% of UK citizens have never had a passport, while 93% of people own a smartphone. Okay, are there any statistics people in here? Okay, reverse those statistics, Sarah. Okay, that means 90% of UK citizens have never had a passport, while 93% have smartphones. We're only talking about a 3% difference. This is meaningless. This is totally meaningless. It's an example of how you can, for instance, look at this, only 10%, oh my Lord, the 10 to 90, wow. Oh, no. It's 10% don't have this, but 93% have this. Which means you either report 10% or 7% or 90% and 93%. But you can't do that because it makes it sound like this is not as significant as it is. Ha ha ha. Do we have functioning brains, folks? Apparently not. They, as part of our consultation, we'll be making sure the scheme is inclusive. They do have an alternative for people who don't have smartphones. So that's good. Face-to-face help is on hand during the rollout. Ongoing support and dedicated casework can be provided for challenging situations. So, of course, why will it be a legal requirement? To help tackle illegal working, it will be a legal requirement for employers to check your digital ID as proof of your right to work, for instance, before you start a new job. Of course, the only other thing they mention in here is with police can't stop and ask you for it. That's kind of the case. Let's hit the customize button. Oh, come on. Reject all. There you go. So here's what we know and what we don't know right now from Politico. So you will not be able to work in the United Kingdom if you do not have a digital ID. That sounds perilously close to in Revelation. You know, everyone who does not have this cannot participate in the economy. All right. So the conservative leader, Kima Badenoch, called the idea a desperate gimmick that will do nothing to stop the boats. A Reform UK spokesman said that the digital ID would have little effect on illegal working and that all it would do is impinge further on the freedoms of law-abiding Brits, which is true. Here's what we do know. All UK citizens and legal residents will need to produce digital ID to prove their right to work by the end of this Parliament, which is August of 2029 at the very latest, which, by the way, I am covering this in my Christian channel next Tuesday on the Daily Walk. 2030 is an important year, and I just can't help to note that this date is perilously close to 2030. Like an e-visa or passport, ID will include a person's name, date of birth, nationality, residency status, and a photo. And the government also said the ID will be available to use for providing identity when voting in elections, and that it could be used by private sector organizations like when setting up a bank account. What we don't know is, in short, quite a lot, they said. It's unclear whether the system itself is developed in-house, as with the government Digital Service One login, or it's outsourced to the private sector. If it's outsourced to the private sector, this is particularly dangerous because governments forcing people to have something that has to go through a private sector is always dangerous. They also said digital IDs can do more for our citizens than just combat this, which means they plan to use it for a whole lot more. This is just the Trojan horse to get it in. It's also unclear whether physical documents would remain valid as proof of identity. Migrant rights campaigners have long protested the use of Home Office transition to digital-only status on the grounds of inclusivity and reliability. So, digital ID. Okay, is this like really Mark of the Beast? Is this something that's not? Let's have a quick look at that verse from the Bible itself. So from the NASB 95 version, the Mark of the Beast is specifically mentioned in Revelation 13, 16, and 17. And it says, he causes, he is the great beast who is assisting the Antichrist. He causes all, the small and the great, the rich and the poor, the free and the slaves, to be given a mark on the right hand or on their forehead. And he provides that no one will be able to buy or sell except the one who has the mark, either the name of the beast or the number of his name. So here's the challenge, is that even if you do not believe in Christianity, you have to recognize a lot of people do. And for me as well, this is 100% true. This is going to happen. It's going to happen before all the Christians are taken out of here as well. I know that's a controversial point to some of you. Some of you guys think, oh, that doesn't matter. I'll be long gone before here. God's going to rapture me on out. No, this happens before the rapture. We are commanded to keep an eye out for this kind of stuff. And the fact of the matter is, even if you don't believe this, this is deeply held truths by a lot of people. And if you cannot come to the grip and the understanding that those people have this deep level of concern, well, you know what? This gives us solid precedent. We're talking about a force not like we have right now. We're talking about a force infinitely worse than China and Russia and all these other boogeymen that want to be thrown out across anywhere in the West, or, if you ask all them, United States, anyone else on, out there, infinitely worse than the boogeyman you can even dream up. This will literally be, you take this mark or you are 100% excluded from all of society. And by the way, you're not allowed to hunt either. We'll kill you for poaching also. That's the level of nonsense that this is. Now, other countries are starting to get into these digital ID stuff as well. Russia, now China already has one. Their WeChat system already integrates payment systems, IDs, and things like that. Russia just is launching their own digital ID system as well. And as of September of this month, their new application is required to be pre-installed on every phone in Russia. So Russia's state-backed copy of WeChat launches a digital ID. The state-backed super app Max has launched its test version of digital identity feature designed to allow users to prove their age and identity and use digital documents the same way as physical ones, combining digital IDs with messaging, money transfers, and government and private sector e-signatures and social media functions. In other words, in order to participate in society, China uses WeChat, Russia now uses Max, UK's getting their nonsense. How long before the United States gets one? And by the way, just for all the people out there, it's going to be the conservatives that develop the technology, but it's going to be the liberals who deploy it on the people. That's what's going to happen. So they're equal opportunity. There's going to be good people on both sides of it that find their way in hell. Okay. There's one way out of that place. All right. Users over the age of 18 can create a digital ID by connecting to the country's government platform. And that's Gosaluji. That sounds very much like Gulag, but anyway. And verify their identity using biometric data from the government's unified biometric system, the UBS system. Very interesting. We'll get kind of into that kind of stuff a little bit more. Max users will be able to pay fines, taxes, make doctor appointments, and order taxis and delivery. The platform is heavily promoted by Moscow, which is mandated that all new smartphones sold in Russia come with Max pre-installed starting September 1st of 2025. In August, the country effectively blocked their main competitors, WhatsApp and Telegram, claiming that the foreign-owned messaging apps were being used for fraud and bad stuff, which they probably were, for being completely honest. But what does all this have to do with, buying and selling and all this kind of stuff? Well, way back, I saw this article back in 2022, and it's definitely interesting. MasterCard launches tech. Isn't it funny it's called MasterCard? MasterCard launches tech that lets you pay with your face or hand in stores. Wait. Forehead or right hand? Face or MasterCard? MasterCard, are you the Antichrist? They're piloting new technology that lets shoppers make payments with just their face or hand at the checkout point. The company on Tuesday launched a program for retailers offering biometric payment methods like facial recognition and fingerprinting scanning. Okay, the research we've done has told us that consumers love biometrics, said the Antichrist. Wait, hold on. That said Aja Bahali, the MasterCard's president of cyber and intelligence. That must be the false prophet. I don't know. Hey, we've identified the false prophet, folks. There he is. All right. How does this work? To sign up on MasterCard, you take a picture of your face or scan your fingerprint to register with an app. This is done on your smartphone or at a payment terminal. You can then add a credit card, which lets you get linked to your biometric data, similar to tech that's being trialed by Amazon in the U.S. That was the stores you go and they ended up. It came out a couple months ago that they were actually just a bunch of Indians watching you around the store. That's why people weren't getting their bills for later. Those guys had to figure out what you actually had and didn't have and manually process the order. It was kind of fun. But it's like, that's 2022. What's going on? So I dig around a little bit more. And that 2030 date keeps showing up. It's going to be 2030. We'll own nothing and be happy, folks. That 2030 keeps showing up. By 2030, MasterCard aims to cancel manual card entry by 2030. This is Payments Dive, and this is from November of 2024. Just almost a year ago, okay? In the data brief, MasterCard aims to replace the need for manual credit card entry and one-time passwords with tokenization and biometric authentication at online checkout by 2030, the card networking giant said on Wednesday. So, no more putting in your credit card. You have a token, and then you verify it with your right hand or your forehead. And that is how you buy goods in the new digital age by 2030. I'm not being a prophet here, but maybe 2030 is about the time we're going to see this roll out. There's some evidence. There's actually some extra evidence out there. But you have to understand, the mark of the beast, even if you do not follow religious circles, you at least have an idea of what it is. And you understand that these are deeply held beliefs. And a lot of people look to this. However, we are commanded in the Bible to pay attention to the signs. This is your sign, folks. By 2030, MasterCard wants to verify all your purchases by fingerprints and face scans. And by the way, they've been taking a major lead over Visa to the point where almost every bank I have now, it's a MasterCard. I only have one bank now that still uses Visa as their debit card system. And I don't like MasterCard. I'd rather have Visa. I mean, they're both the devil, but, you know. So there's our introduction to the Mark of the Beast. I hope you're not too terrified by all that. But with that, again, this was a segment of a longer stream. You can catch the whole stream linked in the description down below. All right, let's go ahead and check in on some comments here. Let's check in over here on Matrix first. This might be a dumpster fire, but let me have a look. Oh boy, Matrix is a dumpster fire. Let's see. What do we got? Kaiser, did the stream die for a while? No. Yeah, I've lost 10% dropped frames. 10,040 frames dropped. All you guys saying Starlink. Yeah, next time Starlink, he's going to try 720. Yeah, I'm going to try 720 and see if that helps next time we do Starlink. Yeah, it works. Frankly, I think it's working okay. It's just we're getting just a little bit of buffering here and there. Bunch of weird phone calls and the feed and the AI is one that happens. Sounds like it's going another one. Let's see. Set up a call that records another phone. AI agent, watch the AI record it and feed itself back. Yeah, that's right. So in response to the neon stuff. Like for me, will ya? Mark of the Beast by Iron Maiden. There you go. If I were in the UK, I mean, we can always just do Anarchy in the UK. Maybe that was also another prophetic song. It looks pretty crazy over there right now. Let's see. I want to be anarchy. Is that how those words go? China really was the testing ground for all this dystopian crap. Oh, do you guys see, they're actually now exporting the Great Wall of China technology to other countries. It's kind of neat. I was going to talk about it, but I had so many articles this week. I had to cut some back. Donald, if you got a license for that Sharpie, yeah, pretty much. I did hear that actually you can't even buy Sharpies anymore without proving you're over 18. I'll have to test that sometime. Wonder how the digital ID works with foreigners. Yeah. Okay, let's see. Who acknowledges it outside the UK? Well, I mean, once they put it in, man, everyone's going to be glawing all over it. Laws like this only affect those that follow the laws. Oh, we're gonna get into some of those a little bit. Talk about laws. Anybody's in Texas, you got to get Cruz out of there, please. We'll talk about that in a few minutes. Well, illegals will still be illegal. Nothing changes. The UK government will still just know who the legal person is. Yeah, effectively do nothing. We'll see a rise in self-deletions. Those who remain will be obedient and docile. Yep. Let's see. All right, let's jump on over to Rumble. 15 watching over on Rumble. Dan's over there. Greetings, Dan. Hello, Ivan's over there. When the lights go down to the city, it's time to live by the stream. That's right. Hey, I am actually in the stream, in the river. I'm in a van down by the river. There's actually a little stream beside me. The grass is too tall for me to see it, but yeah. Next time around, I'll be done 720p. See if it has any benefit. Yep. See a drop 720 could be beneficial. Yeah, I don't know. It may not, because I've been watching, like every time I'm looking at the Starlink feed, it's recording exactly what it needs to be. It's got to be like the satellite handoffs. Go to Rumble, see Odyssey lagging. Nomad's now dependent on systems this bad. Yeah. Atheist, by the way. All right. UK, woke. Consumerism plus Big Brother type. Yeah, Nomad's dependent on System D. I might be happy using Hyperland and i3. Clippy on the YouTube, but not on that live stream. All right. We got 14 watching on Odyssey, wherever an Odyssey is. All right. Greetings. The official Sonic Gaming channel, 568. There we go. I switched to Linux about a month ago or two. Feel like nothing changed except having more freedom. Yeah, there you go. Nice to meet you. Still waiting. Set at 480, doing well. Now it's forced on 1080p and it's garbage. Yeah, for whatever reason, Starlink likes to lag. Freak alert, everybody, freak alert, honk, honk, freak alert. Uh-oh, you talk about me? All right, all your infos belong to us, that's right. If your nephew signs up, he just handed 25% of your DNA to them, that's right. Give him Noises of the Forest. Hey, I got Noises of the Forest. Neon is in your walls listening to your phone conversations. That's right. Pounce like a jealous instead. There you go. Jealous cat. Jealousy cat. From Odyssey today. All right. Maybe they should start by closing their borders instead. There's a thought. Thought we fought a war to stop Show Me Your Papers. Nah. So-called Western countries have gone full Nazi. Some of them have. Okay, Scotland ain't getting no digital ID. Hey, it's going to be mandated. Wait, is it Scotland? Yeah, I think Scotland was mandated. Revelations talk alert. Revelations talk alert. That's right. That's right. Dude, you're screwed. I heard the tyranny that occurred during the lockdowns is there. It's like, no. All right, we got 47 watching on ZTubies. Let's see what we got over there. Ice T Decodian, greetings to you. Hello, Ivan. Commodore fans over there, greetings to you. Keegan's on. Hello, Night of Light. Upgraded the Wi-Fi on both my Lenovo laptops and module on the Wavelength. Now they have Wi-Fi 6E. Connection, I don't know. Did we ever get what the ping was? Season change, I can watch live again. Awesome, man. Do have a little bit of jitter. Yep. All right. Fix your crap, Elon. Yeah, audio's fine. Just the video's buffering. Could be shifting satellites. Yeah, I think it's shifting satellites. Hey, 1.9 gigabytes down on my T-Mobile 5G, according to my Pixel 9a, but I can't make good use of it because T-Mobile gateways only have one gigabit LAN ports. That's kind of funny. Wonder if the troops on the warships in the Caribbean will be paid for, in the government shutdowns. Yes, they are. Because it's considered critical infrastructure. However, the national parks kind of close out, like the visitor centers. I was actually quite surprised. I didn't have to do anything. They automatically refunded me my tour fee that I paid. I had to pay $16 for a tour through the cave, and they automatically refunded it. So that was good. All right, better than dial-up, but not by much. Eventually, I got a Verizon Jetpack 4G LTE setup. She was paying $120 a month, if I remember right. Yeah, I'm paying $120 a month for my my Verizon-based internet. I get 300 gigabytes a month, I think, is what I get. I get 3 cell towers in sight. If I had to, I could switch cellular any moment. Yeah. Rule number 1, no names. That's right. I just give them a fake name. Hello, War Thunder. Greetings. I remember getting a mailer about $30 a month was pretty tempting. When my year dial-up, I might give it a shot. Self-driving cars and Ring cameras, all those photos going to the mothership to be stored for later use. Yeah. Careful, $30 a month for T-Mobile is with a full fat voice line. I'm paying $50 a month with auto pay and no voice line. First Amendment, just saying. Yeah, I barely use voice at the moment. Get a prepaid cheapest plan I can. Yeah, maybe we should go and live in the bush where they cannot go easily. If they enter private property, then EMP generator will destroy their glasses. There you go. Yeah, I need an EMP cannon for when I see a person with meta glasses. Boom! Yeah, the meta glasses looking terrible. Yeah, come on, man. What do you mean they're terrible? Those are Ray-Ban glasses, man. Come on, they're stylish, or at least we're told they're supposed to be. I don't know. Style is in the eye of the person trying to make the new style. So, weird phone calls and feed it to the AI. See what happens. There you go. I wonder if these calls are actually listened to by a human. Get $900 a month for recording me, cussing out the telemarketers and data collectors. Sign me up. There you go. Set a loop of incoherent gibberish. Install that. Just get movies and set them to like recording in Spanish. Just record Spanish phone calls. You will submit to the computer lord. I will not. Ever talk about Linux here anymore? Oh yeah, all the time. Let's see. We just did 2 days ago? Was it Monday? I think we did a review of Zorin OS. I have MX Linux coming up this week, and we did talk a little bit about Linux briefly with the Windows video this week as well. Not the shrimp gumbo. That's right. Feels like we don't need to make it safe. Feels like don't need to make it safe as hacking is illegal. Yeah, come on, man. We don't have to make it safe. I have nothing to hide. It's about having some dignity and self-respect. There you go. Yep. Been drinking more cold coffee as of late. Greetings, Fresh Vintage. Greetings there. How's it going there? I tried cold brew at Sheets. It's actually pretty good. They don't have Sheets where Commodore Fan lives. Okay. I didn't know UK government cared about the borders. In the book of Revelation, it talks about women being provided for. Not be here for that, but will be in a wilderness where some people will be sheltered. Yeah. Don't have any sheets in my area here in the south. Hey, yep, I called it. Yep. Yeah, I think that as I was coming from the south, I think the first sheets I hit was West Virginia. Fresh Vintage, you don't have sheets in your town, do you? I don't think you have sheets, did you? I know you're traveling up and down all over the place these days, so you know. I get the unsweetened version, add my own creamer. Yeah, I have about one more cup left of chocolate cherry coffee. It's one of the few coffees I add cream to, and sometimes sugar. Get a good chocolate cherry coffee, mix cream and sugar. It tastes like chocolate covered cherries. It's amazing. But I'm about out. I splurged on some good flavored coffee, which is kind of funny because Wegmans is the only place where you can get good flavored coffee that I know of. And they never changed their coffee prices, but everybody else did. So Walmart's high quality, high premium flavored coffees are the same price as Walmart's coffees now. It's kind of funny. Like, yeah, $1 price difference. I'll go with the Wegmans. It's much better. But we don't have Wegmans out here in the West. So if anybody knows of anywhere I can get good flavored premium coffee somewhere in the Dakotas, Wyomings, maybe Montana, Idaho, that general area, let me know. I'll make a trip in. Thinking the Mark of the Beast will be some micro-sized version of an AirTag. Yeah, but it's like that, but it's going to be full. It's going to be tied to your body, though, is the thing. It's not something you can accidentally leave at home. My job wanted me to use digital ID. Ugh. Laws like this will only affect those who follow the laws, not those who break them. Everyone forgot today was Thursday. Yep. I hope you figured out the topic by now. Let's see. UK police on the way to the Black Hills right now. Good luck. UK police. We're locked and loaded over here. With reciprocity. All right. It wasn't mandatory, like it was tricked into it. Kind of. No one asked for my card ID or who I am at work. Mark of extremism. Both far left and far right could do this. Yeah. Like I said, I think the far right's going to basically create the technology, but the far left, I think, is going to implement. Agree with you. Matthew 7:14 makes it clear that very people will enter heaven, claiming the majority of Christians at the standard goes against scriptures. Okay, what are you disagreeing with? Matthew 7:14 is going to be talking about your wide road. Few people will enter heaven. Majority of Christians as a standard. Okay, I'm not sure exactly what you're saying there. Maybe clarifying the language. But the statements that are going on in Matthew 7 have nothing to do about the timing of the rapture. Anyway, digital ID crap is global. It all gets subordinate master with mothership. Except you can't use the word master anymore. Come on, man. Get with it. It's lead or something, right? One world government. How do we stop this? Well, we really won't. We just have to pay attention and resist it. Digital ID will be inconvenient version of the Mark of the Beast, with a solution most likely being a small RFID chip in your body. Yep. Or biometrics. I mean, they could probably do it with biometrics. I mean, that's what they're trying to do with all their eyeball scans. Due to stop that, I'm an atheist, and Silver, please don't be a far racist. All right. Credit union has Visa for their cards. Yep. Is there a kitty back there? Anarchy is very dangerous. Yes, it is. All right. We are almost to the bottom of the comments for us, so I'm going to go ahead and push through them, and then we'll get back to the main topic here. I don't have a credit card to check if it's also Visa. Digital ID is a challenge to my authoritarian. Digital ID is a challenge to my authority. Is that how you're supposed to do it? South Park way? All right. I want a fair democratic system with equality of opportunity. Capitalism, not communism. Yeah. There you go. I live in a van down by the river. Tom has turned into Chris Farley from Saturday Night Live. Yeah. I'll have to go watch those clips. I've actually generally can't stand Saturday Night Live, but I'll have to go find those clips. See what else I can do. Let's see. Ex Libra for the win. There you go. Views were a few years ago, so the older gen receivers and stats. Let's see. Coffee has gone sky high. In some places, coffee has gone sky high. Folgers has gone sky high. Maxwell House actually didn't seem to change their prices much yet that I saw. But I did notice Folgers was way up. Can refrigerate it, keep it fresh longer. Life corrected me. You can freeze it to make it last longer. Yep. Not saying that the majority will not go to heaven, has to do with the timing. Saying the majority of Christians is not the standard for anything. Okay, I'm not sure exactly what I said, the majority of Christians, but okay, so let's start with this basic premise. The true Christians are the ones that enter through the narrow gate. I think we can both agree with that. There's a lot of false Christians who do not enter the narrow gate, and that's what he was getting at further down in that chapter in Matthew 7:21, that many will come to me in that day saying, Lord, Lord, well, have we not done many great deeds in your name? And I will say to them, depart from me, I never knew you. Those are people who believe they were Christians, but were not. All right, let's go ahead and get back into our main topic. We're going to start in on our quick lines. So first up on our quick lines, anybody in Texas, get this guy out of office, please. Ted Cruz blocks a bill that would extend privacy protections to all Americans. Yes, it actually does turn out that there is. And I was thinking about this. In the documentary Maxed Out, almost 2 decades ago, they actually mentioned that the credit scoring system has special lists for quote-unquote special people that would cause a problem for the credit industry if there was a mistake or something unflattering on their report. So, like judges and politicians and things would be on that list. And so those people would have a lot more scrutiny over their credit score than the average Joe, who is basically treated like a pleb. Well, it turns out that for the data brokers, apparently there already is a law that Congress is not caught up in all of those data brokers. So all the special elite people out there on Capitol Hill, those clowns that can't stop arguing long enough to pass a balanced budget because they're all drunken. Here's a good thought. They should go in for the next vote. They should take breathalyzers in, and everyone blowing over the legal limit should be excised, and then they take a vote with whoever's left in sober. Okay? Because if you can't drive a car when you're drunk, you should not be able to steer a country. Just saying. All right. But apparently there is a law already that all of those clowns on Capitol Hill, among of other people like the credit industry, also has special lists for the data brokers. And their data is actually not bought and sold by the data brokers as much. Isn't that neat? Maybe I should run for office. That'd be fun. All right. So Ron Wyden, Democrat from Oregon, was trying to push S-2850, which would protect, this is the Protecting Americans from Doxing and Political Violence Act. You'd think that we would all be behind this. Oh no, Senator Ted Cruz, probably because he's a Republican and the other guy's a Democrat. Oh no, someone from the other aisle did something, we got to object. He blocked the effort to pass the legislation would have extended data privacy protections that already apply to federal lawmakers and public officials to everyone in the United States. This is a bill that would have done what I've been calling for to stop the data brokers from buying and selling data as much as they want. And this came about actually because, if you remember, there was the guy in Minnesota ended up getting the data from... He ended up getting in the addresses of some of those people from the data brokers and subsequently went to their houses and shot them. One of them lived and one of them died. And that information was all gathered from a data broker. And so in response to that, these laws were passed trying to say, hey, maybe we shouldn't have all these data brokers that nobody knows about buying and selling every bit of data on everybody. And here it is. Senator Ted Cruz, the moron from Texas, decides he wants to block the bill. All right. So If it would have passed, it would have taken bipartisan provisions designed to protect government officials, lawmakers, and their families from having their personal information sold or traded by data brokers, and extended that to every American and person living in the United States. Members of Congress should not receive special treatment, Wyden said on the Senate floor. Our constituents deserve protection from violence, stalking, and other criminal threats. Or how about even from people trying to push advertisements on us? Here's a thought, advertising world: go to contextual-based ads. You know, if I'm reading a website about earphones, I probably am interested in ads on earphones. Just a thought, you know. Don't need to stalk me around the internet. I think stalking applies to the marketing industry. Look at that. All right. Data brokers are part of the worldwide multi-billion-dollar industry of companies, which they probably gave some of that money to, Cruz, that profit from hoarding and selling access to huge amounts of Americans' personal, financial, and granular location data collected from phones and other devices connected to the internet. This is why you don't use your phone as apps and stuff like that. And then information bought by data brokers has been used to dox people, and in recent cases is linked to the shooting of 2 Minnesota lawmakers, one of whom has died. All right, so Cruz said that he was interested in expanding the protections as wide a universe as feasible as is practical, but the answer is not yet worked out. Get this idiot out of office, please. Vote this guy out. I mean, I'll take I don't know. Lord, get this guy out of there. He's been there too long, folks. He's been there too long. Google and Flow reach a settlement. We know that they had reached a settlement. We didn't have the numbers. Now we know that its numbers are $56 million after misusing users' health data. Hey guys, just an FYI, Google also owns all your Fitbit data. Have you deleted your Fitbit data yet? Oh, no? Well, just wait till it's used against you too. Google and Meta allegedly they were doing targeted advertising based on multiple class action lawsuits in the United States and Canada. What happened is, of course, Flow was a period tracking app, and between 2016 and 2019, they shared the intimate user data with companies including Facebook and Google and AppsFlyer, which is another ad marketer system. And basically, they use that information to target people based on that. How do you I don't even want to know what type of ad you push on somebody based on knowing it's their period or not. I don't know. Headphones for the husbands of the ladies going through PMS. I don't know. FTC investigated Flow and concluded in 2021 that the company misled users about its data privacy practices. Flow and Google denied allegations despite agreeing to pay the settlement. That should be another thing. If you agree to pay a settlement, guess what? You're guilty. Shut up. There you have it. And, of course, this one is the spyware that is force installed on phones of people that are going through the legal system right now. So do we really care if all these crazy psychopaths has information leaked out on them? I don't know. I'm having a harder time caring about these ones. They had their chance, I guess. But this is software used by law enforcement. The intrusion against remote comm was one of the easiest hack that this guy's ever done. He's like, yeah, this was easy. Wouldn't you know it? Somebody slapped together a bunch of crap and sold it to the government for a low price. Who would have thought it was a security risk? So Remote.com describes itself as the premier computer, smartphone, and tablet monitoring service management for pretrial, probation, and parole clients. So it's sold as a product called Scout. So if you've been through the legal system, what's the current left-wing euphemism they're using for that? Like justice impact people, I think it is. For justice impacted people, this is what you're going to get, right? Behind the official branding, Scout behaves like software. It records keystrokes, captures screenshots, and even sends out alert if the tracked person types certain keywords. Well, you got to be a moron to be searching for, I don't know, stuff when you're already being monitored for stuff. But the hacker accessed 2 files. It contained names, phone numbers, work addresses, email addresses, unique IDs, job titles of people working in the criminal justice system who've used the services, and clients, around 14,000 entries, covering individuals currently or previously monitored by Scout, listing names, email addresses, IP addresses, home addresses, phone numbers, alongside names and emails of their probation officers. How wonderful. So there you have it, folks. Don't become a justice impacted individual, and you won't have to worry about that. You're justice impacted, just get rid of all your digital stuff. Well, Whoop is another one of these fitness bands that is getting around those HIPAA laws, collecting all your data under not HIPAA medical sharing stuff, but under consumer stuff that can be sold to all those data brokers that Ted Cruz won't stop from selling your data. So fitness band maker Whoop formally introduced Whoop Advanced Labs. 350,000 people were on the wait list after the service was previewed in May. The platform integrates those results with the band's continuous monitoring of activity, sleep, respiratory rate, and blood sugar to offer more personalized wellness advice. Whoop joins a growing number of startups offering wellness through low-cost, out-of-pocket blood screenings on a subscription basis. So you pay a subscription for the band, it's monitoring all this stuff, and then integrates all of your test results with the band information of continuously monitoring activity, sleep, respiratory rate, and blood pressure, all, of course, to integrate it into some customer database which can be utilized by the company. So count me out of that one there. They're joining a growing number of startups offering wellness through low-cost, out-of-pocket blood screenings on a subscription basis, which, by the way, since they're companies and you're agreeing away to it, do not apply to HIPAA. Wonderful. Well, Tile. We've always talked about these tracking devices. Tile apparently is plagued by really bad security, worse than all of the other ones. Researchers at Georgia Institute of Technology scrutinized the security of the popular Tile tracker and came out disappointed. So, of course, a lot of people are using these different trackers out there. Researchers reported the Tile trackers were not as safe as they hoped. They found the trackers broadcast an unencrypted static MAC address and a unique ID. Bluetooth devices or radio frequency antennas in the tracker's vicinity can pick up the signals to follow the movement of the trackers. Other trackers do not broadcast their actual MAC address. Instead, they send out a temporary ID based on it, which makes long-term tracking harder. Tile does things differently. While it rotates the unique ID, it still transmits the same MAC address. So these guys apparently haven't figured out that MAC addresses are important. One of the researchers put out this warning about the dangers if an attacker only needs to record one message from the device to fingerprint it for the rest of the device's lifetime. Another issue is the anti-stalking feature. After concerns were raised about the ability to stalk persons with these trackers, most manufacturers added automatic alerts that would warn a user if a tracker was not theirs was following them around. With Tile, the app does not scan in the background. The user has to manually start the scan. Even then, it only works if the user keeps moving for around 10 minutes. So you got to turn it on and keep moving for 10 minutes. To enable there is an anti-theft mode. To enable it requires a government-issued ID, a live photo of the user, and an agreement to pay a $1 million fine if convicted of stalking. That's fun. At least they thought of something, right? So apparently, though, Tile is very insecure. You should probably not use those. And speaking of companies you probably should not be using, LinkedIn, they're going to use all of your data to train its AI unless you opt out now. So if you are using LinkedIn, go ahead and opt out of this immediately. LinkedIn plans to share user data with Microsoft and its affiliates for AI training. In other words, it goes out to all those data brokers that wouldn't be empowered by it except Ted Cruz, let them go. Framed as legitimate interest, it won't ask for your permission. Instead, you have to opt out before the deadline. So it's an opt-out option. All right. So the problem in this case is if you were already opted in by default and your data will be used up to the point where you opt out. So it's not like opt out by this time. It's any data from now until you opt out will be allowed to be used. So and there you can go down to data privacy. Actually, while you're here, just delete your LinkedIn page. That'd probably be a little bit better. Who's affected and how? The official statement says members in the EU, EEA, Switzerland, Canada, Hong Kong have until November 3rd to opt out. I didn't see anything about the U.S. in this one. Oh, yeah, there it is. Quarter of 1 billion LinkedIn users in the U.S. They can provide a lot of vulnerable data. So starting November 3rd, we will share additional data in your region with our affiliates. So opt out, folks. Hey, cat, chill out. Cats are down here hissing at each other. Don't have a hissy fit. Yeah, go up there on the bed. I'm going to feed you guys in a minute. Yeah. All right. Governor Newsom signs the AI safety bill. This bill is completely toothless. It means absolutely nothing. It is totally useless. But hey, it it's causing some people to be all riled up. First in the nation bill that sets new transparency requirements on large AI companies, ensures whistleblower protections for employees at these individual companies. So it creates a mechanism for AI companies and the public to report potential critical safety incidents to California's Office of Emergency Services. If you've never had to deal with California's government, that doesn't mean anything. It means that you're going to be reporting these transparency issues into a black hole that won't care. Okay. Companies also have to report incidents related to crimes committed without human oversight. Okay. Cyber attacks, deceptive behaviors by the model isn't required. They only have to do that. So this bill literally does nothing. Of course, it's making news because right as this happens, Facebook, we talked about this last week, Facebook is creating a super PAC to back candidates to support a light touch approach. Basically, Facebook, the company who wants its AI to talk sexually to your young children and who doesn't see a problem with that, and who's using pictures of your children getting dressed for school who are young to target men for their products, want AI companies to have no regulation, and they're going to be putting in candidates with their super PAC that will deregulate the AI industry. So, I think California, I don't know. Facebook, I'm pretty sure Dante is down there in hell creating another layer of hell just for Meta employees. I don't know. The bill would regulate AI competition. This is a new bill. They're weighing signing this one, SB 243. This one was a little bit better. This would regulate AI companion chatbots, requiring operators to implement safety protocols and hold them legally accountable if their bots fail to meet those standards. That bill's a better bill, so the SB 243 is probably a little bit better one. SB 53 is this was Scott Wiener's second one. I'm totally surprised. Anyway. Newsom vetoed the SB 1047 after a lot of pushback from AI companies. There's some bills going through California, well, for now anyway. There is new agent tools inside of Word and Excel. I would highly encourage you all to switch to LibreOffice, please. Get all this AI crap out of there. So this is basically uses a vibe working method. Of course, that's you give it the prompt and then you keep on massaging it with further prompts to get it down to what you want. New set of Microsoft 365 features. Knowledge workers will be able to generate complex Word documents or Excel spreadsheets using only text prompts to Microsoft's chatbot. How wonderful. And this is hilarious because I've mentioned this several times before. Microsoft has a horrible reputation for bad naming conventions. This is similarly named to another Microsoft product. We talked about this before. They have Outlook, the program, and they have Outlook, the service. Their Windows 8 rollout, they had the Windows and the Windows NT, and nobody knew the difference between them all. You know, they've done this all the time. There were dozens of examples of these. So what they're doing here is one of these is called Office Agent for Copilot, and the other is just called Office Agent. Now, right now, these are only available on the web versions of Word and Excel. So, hey, if you're on Linux using the web versions of these, you can take advantage of this AI stuff too, or you can just switch to LibreOffice. Just a thought. If you're vibe working or vibe writing in Microsoft Word, you're doing the same thing as, vibe coding with the document. You're just telling it what you want the document to say, reading it, accepting the suggestion, and then asking for further changes until you're happy with it. Of course, it's possible these tools and refined successors will make life just a little bit easier for knowledge workers, but as always, workers are going to need to understand some of the basic principles of how the tools work. Not that they'll really check or care about that, but whatever. And now we did talk about this briefly in the first segment, but Alexa's survival hinges on you buying more expensive Amazon devices. So not only does Amazon want to push more expensive devices, they want to push Alexa Plus, which is their AI platform. So get ready for it, folks. Amazon is going to start giving us all a bunch more AI stuff. They're going to be sitting there like, hey, push more AI everywhere, right? So Alexa Plus is a subscription-based generative AI service, $20 a month, or included with Prime, which starts at $15 a month, is supposed to solve Amazon's woes with Alexa. So the day of the device is in the event in New York City, Amazon unveiled new gadgets built to usher in what Amazon hopes is a new era of chatting, shopping, watching TV, and controlling smart homes with Alexa Plus. The problem is that Alexa itself is a really poor product, and so Amazon's having a problem with this, with people even using them, and now they're asking people to pay almost twice as much for the Alexa Plus stuff. And so now Amazon, based on finding cheaper prices, are trying to convince people to pay more money for an AI that probably people aren't going to be wanting to use as much. So I don't know. It's been nice knowing you, Alexa. Talk about terrifying. PayPal's Honey to integrate with ChatGPT and other AIs for shopping assistants. Yeah, you remember Honey, that application that was they were basically selling their service to people for, use the Honey sponsorships, and then Honey would literally steal all their revenue. Yeah. Horrible application. Now they're integrating with ChatGPT, so you can agentically tell your agent to search for stuff, and then Honey's going to steal the affiliate codes and steal all your revenue. Isn't it awesome, folks? Get ready for Honey to take over, folks. So payment giant PayPal announced Tuesday it's adding a new feature to its PayPal Honey browser extension. Honey's product recommendations, pricing, and access to the deals will be available through the agentic AI system utilizing the Honey browser extension. Isn't that wonderful? When users ask their preferred AI chatbot a shopping-related question, PayPal's Honey extension will display links to products and the AI chatbot recommends, along with real-time pricing, merchant options, PayPal says. So, it's going to take over and give PayPal a bunch of affiliate money. Agentic shopping integrations are designed to be AI agnostic, PayPal told TechCrunch, but will initially be working with OpenAI's ChatGPT and more to follow. They said the new feature is part of the broader rollout of agentic commerce initiatives, which include a Google partnership. Don't forget, guys, that this agentic AI browsers are susceptible to prompt inputs, allowing your agentic browser to completely scam you. Good luck with that. OpenAI announced a plan to take on Amazon and Google with its own agentic AI system, which includes an instant checkout feature. Oh, wonderful. Now they'll just... We just sensed on the data stuff you wanted this product, so without you even thinking about it, we just charge your card and send it to you. Just totally legit. But our AI system knew you wanted it, so there you go. The AI features are launching after quite a bit of bad press for Honey. A YouTuber accused the company of stealing money from influencers by taking credit for sales that the creators had driven. Yes. And it'll be really interesting to see what happens when that lawsuit is finally litigated. Finally, Amazon pays $2.5 billion settlement over deceptive Prime subscriptions. Now, the thing about this one is this is not actually going through a bunch of class action attorneys. This is an FTC settlement, which is interesting because effectively Amazon is going to be paying back automatically for this. So massive fine, one of the largest. It's a $1 billion civil penalty and $1.5 billion in refunds back to consumers harmed by this. So FTC claimed in a lawsuit that they use manipulative, coercive, deceptive user interfaces, interface designs known as dark patterns to trick consumers into enrolling in automatically renewing Prime subscriptions, which is horribly annoying because every time I go into Amazon, hey, you've been selected to try Prime. I really wish there was a setting in Amazon to say, I'm never interested in Prime, stop promoting it to me. Because now I have to pay double attention to make sure they don't have some auto-checked box or something, which is really annoyingly stupid. All right, so common examples, they have large, colorful yes buttons, but almost hidden no options, confusing cancellation steps with unclear language, pre-check boxes for paid extras, and endless pop-ups encouraging one not to leave a page. So former FTC commissioner described Amazon's End Your Prime membership method as a 4-page, 6-click, 15-option cancellation journey that Amazon itself compared to that slim airport read Homer's Iliad. Okay. So millions of people end up signing up for Prime, some without realizing they even agreed to recurring charges. Others gave up trying to cancel due to the exhausting steps. Customers who enrolled in Prime between June 23rd, 2019 and June 23rd, 2025 may be eligible for a refund. Those who rarely use Prime benefits will automatically get back their fees, capped at $51, which is not a lot of time, while others who meet certain criteria can apply for a refund up to the same amount. So you're not getting everything back, but there it is. So there is our quick lines for the day. We do have a couple of quick Sillyville stories. The first one's not tech related. It was just too fun not to cover. There is apparently an attack squirrel. Anyone out there in California, be careful. In San Rafael, California, there are apparently attack squirrels going around. And there's actually a news article here. There's not a lot in the news article that's particularly relevant. There's no actual footage of this attack squirrel, but a number of people have been sent to the hospital after being attacked by squirrels that are coming out of nowhere. And so it just kind of jumps up, it clams on, it goes all crazy on you, and then of course you need to take a trip out to the hospital. So they did notice in here that, squirrels are not tend to be rabid. More often than not, these are squirrels that are getting violent because people in the neighborhood have been feeding the squirrels, and the squirrels want food. And if they don't get food, they're going to take it out of your arm, apparently. So just be aware, if you are down there in San Rafael, California, be aware there are attack squirrels out there. And DoorDash rolls out a creator program for short-form videos, and I am not sure why. But apparently now you can watch short-form content videos on food you're thinking about ordering. Does anybody do fine dining through DoorDash? I mean, really? So they said on Tuesday they're launching a creator program that will compensate users for short-form videos posted on its app. Wonderful. DoorDash says short-form videos posted by local creators will let users preview dishes before they order them. Again, does anybody order premium dishes on this? I thought it was just you're too lazy to order your McDonald's, so you pay 5 times more than it's worth, and then you finance it over 4 months on Klarna. Isn't that how it goes these days? I don't know. So Uber Eats apparently started doing this last year. All right. So now you can apply to become a DoorDash creator, where apparently you go into restaurants and you do some munch banging there after your short form video. So apparently now you can go onto the DoorDash and scroll around the video feed to decide what you'd like to impulse buy on your Klarna payments to come right to your door for the low cost of $19.95 over 4 easy payments. I don't know. So with Going Out is the name of the service. You can find and redeem exclusive in-app offers when you dine in and earn rewards just for coming back. So Going Out customers receive an average of $9 in value per order. I will note that $9 in value per order is 10 times more expensive than it is if you pick up your calorie-laden butt and meander your way onto the store to pick it up yourself. And we wonder why we have an obesity problem in this country. This wonderful line from the movie, the documentary. If you've not seen the documentary called Fathead, you should go watch it. You can, I think, watch it on YouTube. I think you have to be signed in. It's one of those ad-supported ones, but it is absolutely worth watching that. He is doing a documentary refuting the nonsense that was the movie Super Size Me, which was a bunch of garbage. And he actually went through and brought in scientists, and he actually lost weight on his 30-day fast food diet using the simple premise that he has a functioning brain, But one of the lines in there, he's talking about the obesity epidemic, and he's like, children more often than not, come home and they sit down and sit in front of there. He says, if you think that's bad, grown adults are practically inert. We just drive into the drive-thru and pick up the fattening food and drive out and never move. It's a wonderful line. So as for new AI features, the DoorDash app now offers personalized recommendations to the top of the homepage, taking into account the user's past orders, budget preferences, dietary restrictions, time of day, and location. How wonderful. I get a notification on my phone. Hey, a new creator just dropped a brand new munch bang. Would you like to watch this 1-minute video with a quick $9 coupon to pay $39.99 over 4 months on your Klarna? For a burrito, fatty. Get it. Get it now. All right. A compliment your cart section on the checkout page will suggest personalized add-ons to your grocery cart. DoorDash says this will make it easier for customers to find relevant add-ons to complete their shopping list faster. How many people are we ordering for? Sure, throw on the extra order of breadsticks, I guess. App now has AI smart tags to find what we're looking for. That's great. That's all I need. ChatGPT, help me lose weight. No, fatty. Have another cheeseburger. And now, of course, California pulls over a self-driving car during a DUI sting, and the San Bruno Police Department has no means of issuing a ticket. All right, San Bruno Police Department was conducting a grant-funded DUI operation when they saw a car make an illegal U-turn right in front of them. Now, probably what happened is the cars are signaled to like stop if they're being pulled over by police. If they see a police incident ahead, they're probably programmed to do a U-turn, thinking that it's an emergency situation, better turn around and find another route. That's probably what's going on here, because I can't imagine that part of their training was one of these DUI checkpoints. You're driving down the road, and then there's all these police officers there that's stopping everybody, making sure you're not drinking and driving or whatever else. And the thing probably sees all these things and says, oh, there's some police crime incident. I better not drive through the crime scene. Let's do an illegal U-turn right about here. That's probably what happened. So as soon as the thing did a U-turn, the police are like, uh-oh, somebody's trying to get away from us. So they go and pull him over, and there was no driver. Knock on the door, no one's home. And so the police department took to Facebook with the unusual circumstances. During a grant-funded DUI enforcement operation, our officers observed something unusual. An autonomous vehicle made an illegal U-turn right in front of them at the light. That's right, no driver, no hands, no clue. Officers stopped the vehicle, contacted the company, let them know about the glitch. Since there was no human driver, a ticket could not be issued. Our citation books do not have a box for robot. Hopefully, the reprogramming will keep it from making any more illegal moves. It was a first for both officers. For those who believe that we are now being lenient, there is legislation in the works that will allow officers to issue the company notices, whether it's drivers, passengers, or even the driverless cars. We'll continue to do our part. So there is actually a law that passed in California, but it doesn't go into effect until summer of 2026. And so Waymo's spokesperson said the autonomous driving system is designed to respect the rules of the road, which is precisely why it did an illegal U-turn in front of police. See, you guys, I've said it before. You can tell a customer service community relations person is lying if their mouth is moving. This system is designed to obey the rules of the road, which is why it just broke the law in front of police. My Lord. We're looking into the situation and are committed to improving road safety through our ongoing learning and experience. In reality, though, what I'm saying is probably true. The system saw what was ahead, thought it was a crime scene, and turned around to not disturb evidence. Because it's a whole lot better than the self-driving car driving through the crime scene. It didn't know what to do, so it turned around, There you go. But, of course, don't forget that our star here of Cars, which I forget his name now, on his way got to get to California Prana. There you go. What is his name? Lightning McQueen, right? Lightning McQueen. There you go. All right. Well, if you want to help support the channel, of course, you have a look at the shop.switchedtolinux.com. We got some t-shirts. We got some baby onesies. That'll mess up your mother-in-law. Got some hats, a bunch of other stuff. Of course, coffee cups and things like that. So have a look over there, shop.switchedtolinux.com. And now let's go ahead and we will feed the beasts. And then once we feed the beasts, then, wow, both beasts are already on the bed. Wow. That's weird. So we're going to feed the beasts, and then we will do comments until we run out of comments. Hi, kitties. How are you? How are you, huh? How are you doing? Don't moon the camera, though. Don't moon the camera. Here, lay down. Lay down. There you go. Uh-oh. don't know if you could see the other one back there. That other ones are kind of sitting right in front of the camera, but they're both actually back there. That's kind of funny. All right, let's go ahead and have a look at some comments here. Things should be geostationary. Let's see. Okay, let's see where we're at. Yuki, okay. The only one on YouTube I've seen YouTube feed were way more woke before. I don't get a lot of woke stuff on my YouTube feed personally. All right, and then just a bunch of cat memes. All right. Let's see. Okay, let's see. Mostly TVs, IDs not going to happen. There'd be some trouble. Let's see. Hope there's enough good people to stop the bad ones, or else the world is doomed. Cosmetologist says they still can't find the missing dark matter. Uh-oh. Yeah, all the missing dark matter is in the hearts of these evil demon people running around. That's where the dark matter is. Good to the last drop. Yep. Cruz's leftist garbage. Texans won't remove Abbott, so I'm not holding my breath. Yeah. Hashtag term limits. Amen to that. Hate is for horses. There you go. They chose violence. Too expensive. Okay, there's a YouTube video there. Munch banging. Yeah, they'll flash bang you with food. There you go. Fathead. Oh, that's a link to Fathead. Awesome. Thank you. A Lazy Affair on Odyssey is supposed to the link to Fathead. I'm the only one on YouTube. Let's see. Seen that one. Odyssey or YouTube. No overlap. Let's see. Why do you put a space before your punctuation? I don't know. Let's see. That was quick. Bought quick and timed. Oh, there you go. You can see the other cat back there now. Now the other one sat down. You can see them both. All right. Brought to you by Temptations, apparently. Let's see. Are you respecting those cats' privacy? Did they consent to being recorded? Yes, they did. The camera's been there for a while, and they chose to jump up on that bed. Not only that, but they're my cats. And since they're my dependents, I get to make that choice for them. Now, if they were my children, I would not be putting their pictures on the internet. But since they're just my cats, I don't really care. All right, the cat can sue me. Go for it. Funny enough, Folgers I had before was free from my wife's office cleared out. There you go. Is true that atheists are now considered as terrorists by Trump? Or is that tedious? No. So one of the things that had happened this week is the ADL, the Anti-Defamation League, which is actually a bunch of actually psychopathic left-wing terrorists. They are literally crazy. They had declared that Christians were a hate terrorist group, as well as Turning Point USA, who Charlie Kirk was the founder of. And that information was brought to light this week. And basically, after a ton of criticism, they eventually backed down. And I think I don't know if they completely took it down or at least made a statement retracting some degree of that. And so the ADL was saying that, and there was probably some government pushback in that. No, there's nothing in there that says that atheists are terrorists. What was declared this week by the Trump administration was Antifa. Was declared a domestic terrorist group. And what's significant about that is Antifa is the people who have been running around in cities. And there's a lot of evidence. It's just the same group of people that has been bussed around by coordinators and, high-funded coordinators who've been dropping off literally the same group of people in different cities along with pallets of bricks and other incendiary type things. And it's really just a small group of people who've been tearing apart American cities. And that Antifa group is who Trump has recently declared as a domestic terrorist group. It sounds like atheist, but it's Antifa. And so the significance of that is effectively now being declared a terrorist group by the government. Technically, every social media organization in the United States is then supposed to remove all content related to them. Just like you're not allowed to post a lot of pro-ISIS type stuff in America on American social media platforms. Effectively, that would have to be taken down. Now, I haven't seen that happen yet, but that's kind of, I think that might be what you're referencing. Facebook feed looked like it's based with TDS and trans stuff for no reason. Yeah, I didn't see that. Pushback during Obama, Biden admin, they said they caused trouble, so they were going full TDS mode. Yeah, I'm not sure what that's in reference to. Using LMDE6, although enabled by default, is there any reason to keep LLMMR and MDNS? Waiting globalized DOT, DaneSec, and DOH enabled in Firefox and Brave, considering Quad 9 and DNS search. Okay. Any reason to keep these working? Well, I mean, if you're trying to go with all custom or all directly controlled DNS, I would turn off anything that sets that goes defaults or things like that. Maybe the paperclip in the early MS Office is a signal of AI. No, actually, the reason you see a lot of people with paperclips, I don't actually see a lot of them here today, but a lot of people with the paperclips in their bios, there's a lot of discussion about that. Wasn't actually a problem. That was more like, I'm kind of useless, but at least I want to help. And it wasn't more based on AI. That's, there's one. Yeah, user menu X. Good evening. You came in just in time. We're talking about Clippy. And yes, I do want to get a paperclip. I'm not going to change my logo to it because we're a big channel. So I'm not going to change my logo to the paperclip. But what I'd like to do is I'd like to find a big yellow paperclip and attach a big yellow paperclip to my shirt to announce my solidarity with the Clippy movement. Because I completely support the Clippy movement. Don't want to adapt to a workflow of LibreOffice. It's best to stick with Word instead. No, you can. There's actually ways to do a similar workload with LibreOffice. In fact, that largely is LibreOffice, but have a copy of older Office around in the event I need it. Yeah. If you used to give up Office Picture Manager 2007 was the last edition to have it. Office Picture Manager. I have an Office 2007. I've never seen Office Picture Manager. Do I need to go look this up, or should I just stick with Linux apps? I'll just do that. All right. Windows AI avatar should be the Price is Right Swiss mountain climber yodeling his way up a cliff. Do you think that's a question for Warthon? Do you think Ex Libra will succeed? I'll weigh in on that. I think they have a good shot of it because of the countercultural movement against the crazy wokes that are trying to kill X, which is interesting. Maybe someone stole the nuts from Chip and Dale. Good thing we get free squirrel meat coming to us. There you go. That's it. Someone stole the squirrel's nuts, and the squirrel's going crazy. Does remind me, we did have a fourth one that was excellent. It was just a fourth Sillyville. It was excellent. It was just not family friendly enough for this channel, but yeah. Say nothing more than Gimmetic Racing. Big articles about it. Being a big thing in Tech Bros right now. Anyway, am I the only one? Let's see. That one there. For false common sense, everyone isn't. Well, let's see. Careful, kitties might be camouflage squirrels. They might be. I don't know. My cats are too lazy for that. I mean, these things are not about to jump out and attack anybody anytime soon. They're just over here like chilling, yo. All right, be careful not to park where those squirrels are. Do kung fu on your cats. How then? Attack squirrels should be a meme. Yeah. There you go. Just no staples. There you go. Yeah, no staples. No staples. All right, let me check in. See if there's anything new over on Matrix, probably, because Matrix is getting really busy, and it's hard for me to read it here as well. I think I read that comment. Let's see. Can't escape this. It's global. That's right. Can't wrap my head around how that works without a credit card number. It's the same way they're doing passkeys for payment now. So you get a passkey with your credit card, which is authenticated with biometrics. It's the exact same way that Microsoft is, using Windows Hello for biometric login on Windows. So that's what they want to do with your payment systems. Quickly approaching Sillyville because we're passing by brain damage, Burke. Yep, pretty much. Should have never let normies access the internet. Future generations will pay for the idiocracy of the old ones. That's right. Xbox 360, Xbox One, Xbox Series, MS sucks at naming, yeah. Who asked to vibe work anything? I don't know. Windows 7, 8, 10, yep. Yep. Let's see. I mean, I know the land of the fruits and the nuts, but somebody informed the squirrels, yeah. Thing about Super Size Me was he ate insensible like how many Americans were at the same time, and where the brain would not eat that way. Yeah, so the fundamental problem with Super Size Me is he went in and he basically found the worst of all potential meals for everything, and if they asked to supersize, he automatically would supersize. He would always be drinking sodas and things like that, even though if you're remotely health conscious, and let's suppose that McDonald's is your only fast food option. Now in Fathead, he didn't do just McDonald's. He just did fast food in general. But in Super Size Me, it was just McDonald's. He did breakfast, lunch, and dinner, just McDonald's. But he wouldn't regulate anything. And what his basic premise is, hey, eating all this food like this is going to make you sick. And he's right about that, because it will make you sick if you're eating it all the time in all those quantities without thinking about it. But if you're remotely have a functioning brain, you realize you shouldn't drink soda with every meal. So you can go to McDonald's, and I know that, you can go to McDonald's and those dispensers, they dispense water. Some McDonald's will have unflavored, unsweetened iced tea. There's options that you can get. You can substitute the soft drink for a milk or something like that on the menu. And so you can do things like that. You can buy more salads and do light dressing on the side if you want. You can not supersize, even though they ask. That's kind of his premise. Well, they asked about supersizing. What? Somebody asked me, would you like to consume more money at a higher cost? Well, you've asked. I guess I have to, because Morgan Spurlock didn't have a functioning brain. All right, so that was really the premise there. Whereas in Fathead, he says, well, we're eating nothing but fast food, but we don't have to eat 3 full meals a day there. We are going to count our calories. We're going to keep under a certain amount, and we're going to be cautious of the things that we eat, demonstrating that it's not just the presence of fast food, because Morgan Spurlock, he just going, I just want to shut down fast food, blah, 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 blah. Whereas in Fathead, he's saying, no, you can use fast food appropriately. You just got to use it with a functioning brain. And that really is the question that we need to keep in mind is, do we have to overregulate things like Spurlock wants, or do we want to be in a full libertarian type economy like Tom Naughton wants at Fathead? Now, I'm not a full libertarian, nor am I somebody that wants over government regulation. There's some things that should be regulated, but there's a lot of things that the government needs to let us do our own thing on a lot of things, and let us make our own decisions and stuff like that. And I think that that's what watching those two documentaries side by side would kind of show you. I'd encourage you, in fact, to watch both of them if you haven't seen either, just to see the different perspectives on the same general challenge of eating fast food every day for 30 days, which is a fascinating take. And being somebody who has earned doctorate in related biomedical fields. The message he has in Fathead is really good. It's that fat is not the problem. Sugar is more of the problem in our world. It's not the calories in, calories out. We still hear that all the time. Calories in, calories out. It is not as simple as that. There's a lot more to it. If calories in, calories out explains it, explain to me teenagers, explain to me older people. I mean, just looking at my one cat here, right? I see here. This particular cat appears as though he's reached that point where he is kind of getting to the end of his life and he's kind of aging out. He is still eating the same amount he's always eaten, but he's lost a lot of the extra weight he used to have. He's still healthy, but he has lost a lot of the weight. He hasn't eaten any less. Well, people are the same way. If we can have hormonal or metabolic issues that we can eat less and still gain a lot of weight. For example, people with hypothyroidism, which is a hormonal disease, those people, they can diet all day long. They can monitor all their calories and they will still gain weight every time they eat. But unfortunately, I think one of the messages that we have is in our society, the general habits of eating lend themselves to those hormonal changes, from the fact that, our food, when I worked in fast food as a teenager, we still used tallow to cook our fries. And now nearly every fast food restaurant uses vegetable oils. Vegetable oils are toxic for you. They are really bad. You should not eat them. You should use tallow or other thicker fats if you're doing fast food fried type stuff. And so that's one of those things, is that the food we eat themselves causes hormonal changes, which is one of those things that causes an increase in weight gain. That's kind of some of those things that is going on. Anyway, enough of that. Go watch those films, I guess. Yep, agree. Life in moderation and using your brain. Yep. All right, let me check one more thing. Back on Mint, having a heck of a time getting KeePass XC to work. I use LibreWolf and Brave. Okay, so the KeePass XC extension, browser extension, does not work with LibreWolf. They actually tell you that in the documentation for it. Brave, I don't know. But here is the thing. What's getting in your way most likely is the fact that those are both on Linux Mint, LibreWolf, and Brave are both Flatpaks. Flatpaks do not work well with the KeePass XC browser integration. So, and I have not actually tried to get it to work, but if you probably what you would need to do is enable all devices permission on Flatpak, and that's probably the step I would start with. But the reason both of those aren't working is they're Flatpaks, and the KeePass browser extension is not really designed to work with the sandboxing of Flatpaks. So I think that that's what your problem is there. Let's see. I don't go to far left places. Yeah, I try not to, but homebrew ginger beer is the cheapest, healthiest way to drink soda. Yeah, there you go. Yeah. That doesn't sound pretty good. Sensing the presence of a happy medium. I knew at least one rabbit extreme couldn't be far away. There you go. Right? All right, guys. There is the end of our show. Thank you guys for watching. We will check in again. I think I will have something up for Saturday. And of course, I'll get the shorter clips out here today if you want to share them out with anybody. Thanks for watching, guys, and we will catch you all next time.